tell me about the power of feminine energy, because
See,
a lot of our culture talks about various goddesses that have a sense of huge power and almost violent
the original
power.
goddesses that we created in this culture were all Kali, Bhairavi, now she's Bhairavi, all fierce, powerful creatures, okay?
So I could say this temple is a temple for energy.
Feminine energy.
Feminine. So let's go in and you tell me what feminine energy is, as against masculine energy. Is this what you call a leap of faith? Right? From intellectualism to consciousness
This
is
doesn't
one
take
big
any
leap.
faith, it just needs a leg.
Or a broken leg, okay.
When we say a temple, this must be understood. The temple is like a body. To energize the system, temple is not a place of worship. Temple is not a place where you go and make appeals to some unknown god up there. This is not that kind. This is not a place where you lead a prayer. That is the uniqueness of this culture. Here, temple is like a body, energized in a certain way. Now if you see the masculine temple that we have, is circular in nature, because that is the quality that it is. The feminine temple is in the form of a triangle. There's a whole lot of things in its geometry, how it is made. See, all the wings are 33 feet, properly done in the multiples of 11. It is made in a certain way to create a feminine energy there. Why 33? If you go into these details, there are enormous amount of science behind that. Like your spinal column is 33 aspects, and…
Which I just risked right now. Okay.
So there are so many aspects to this which I don't wish to go right now, but essentially it is feminine energy. Where was the need for this, in a way? See, one thing is today, the feminine is at huge risk on the planet. So immediately people may think, oh, that's because of the man. Maybe man instigated it, but when I say masculine and feminine, I'm not talking about male-female. I'm talking about those two aspects, those two dimensions of life, without which our life will not be beautiful. Our life cannot work actually, even in the most fundamental way. So, because people start thinking in terms of dominance, this is a problem. If you're not looking at life as dominance, if you're looking at life as integration, if you're looking at life as cooperation, if you're looking at life as oneness, then without these two dimensions, there is no existence. But unfortunately, societies have taken on to this as to who is dominating right now, whether masculine or feminine. If any one of them dominates, it'll turn ugly. It's not that if masculine dominates, it'll turn ugly, or feminine dominates, it'll turn ugly. If any one of them dominates, it'll turn ugly. Above all, if you start thinking in terms of dominance, your life will turn ugly. Instead of seeing how to embrace life, you're thinking how to dominate life. By domination, you will not know life. Only by inclusion you will know life. So this is essentially to create an energy force where people can experience a powerful sense of feminine, a fiery nature of the feminine thing. See, feminine is a very fiery form of energy. But today, because we have made economics the most important aspect of human societies, naturally, see, we need to understand this, economics is being glorified as if it's some kind of a divine thing. Economics essentially means survival process. A man used to go into the forest, have a hunt and bring a little bit of meat or fruit or whatever. That was the simple economics. Now it's complicated in a million different ways, but still it's the same thing, providing for yourself and people around you. We are raising a simple survival process to a divine level, which is a foolish way to live. Economics has a place in our life for sure, but it is not the be-all of life. So feminine doesn't belong to that dimension. If in these societies, love, art, music, above all aesthetics of life was dominant in a society, If aesthetics was as important as economics, nobody had to bring up the feminine. Feminine would be naturally dominant. Or let me not use the word dominant, feminine would be naturally, exuberantly alive and manifest in the society. Today, either we are slowly making all the women like men because they have to survive, they have to earn money, they have to provide, or a small percentage of them in reaction not being able to cope with that, they're becoming like Barbie dolls. Here we are creating a woman who is fiery and powerful in a completely different way.
But what you're saying is, you just said love, art, aesthetics. You use those three words as part of the feminine energy. Now, I'm a filmmaker, I'd like to assume that I have all three in myself, so that's my feminine energy.
Yes, it is.
So
If
what
you do
else?
not have the feminine, you won't look and think in terms of what's beautiful, what's not beautiful. You'll only think in terms of what's useful and what's not useful. You'll become utilitarian. The masculine is like that.
So that's…
So you being a man or a woman has nothing to do with it.
So am I in conflict constantly between my masculine and feminine self?
Why? See, that's the whole thing. These two energies are the basis of creation. Why would they be in conflict? They're in absolute collaboration. It is only in human mind that is in conflict. In life, it's not in conflict. In energy, it's not in conflict. Only in mind it's in conflict because mind divides. Because perception is partial, that's why conflict. Otherwise, there's no conflict in the existence between masculine and feminine.
Because to people, when listening to you say the sheer absolute power of the feminine energy, they don't relate to that. They see feminine energy as something gentle, nurturing,
No,
soft.
no.
Tell me about the power of feminine energy, because
See,
a lot of our culture talks about various goddesses that have a sense of huge power and almost violent
the original
power.
goddesses that we created in this culture were all Kali, Bhairavi, now she's Bhairavi, all fierce, powerful creatures, okay? Somewhere down the line, when the outside influences came upon the culture and people made fun of them, people ridiculed your women are like this then they tried to domesticate the feminine. And then they created Saraswati, Lakshmi, very soft, gentle, housewife kind of feminine. Bhairavi, you can't contain her to the limitations of your house, not that she cannot stay in your house, you cannot contain her to the boundaries of your house. She's all-encompassing, that's the nature of her. That's the nature of the feminine, that it's all embracing, not all conquering, you must understand. Man wants to be in conquest, a woman wants to embrace. If the feminine is dominant, the feminine wants to embrace, masculine want to conquer. That's a big difference.
And
By conquest, you will never have it. By embrace, you will have it, isn't it?
so is spirituality very feminine, or it's the perfect balance? So what is the perfect…
It is an absolute balance. If there is no balance, it'll not work. It's not just spirituality, life is an absolute balance, existence is an absolute balance between masculine and feminine. So spirituality is not alien to existence, spirituality is purely existential, not psychological. All these questions are coming up because society has become psychological, not existential. Spiritual process is purely existential, so masculine and feminine have equal roles in making it happen.
You know, Sadhguru, as you're talking, I can't help noticing all those people sitting. They're tapping and what they're creating and sculpting, that tap is almost feminine. Now, is that my learning or is that pretty feminine? That tap is not a big tap, it's so gentle that you can barely, if you hear it…
Yes. See now it's come to a point where the work has become almost feminine, okay? You need gentle hands to do what they're doing. But before that, this rock was in the quarry, okay? There you needed some hard tools to cut it, make it a big piece, transport it in the truck, bring it in, hold it there, cut it down to size. All that was very masculine. If that masculine work had not happened, this feminine part would be not possible. This is so in the society also, I want you to see. If the man goes about, breaks down nature, builds his home and all this, then the woman comes in and makes it beautiful. If she didn't come in, he would just have a rock house which is of no consequence. Nobody enjoys being there, they'll have a house and they'll live outdoor. It's happening in cultures where feminine has been suppressed. They have great homes, but they always want to be outdoors.